Hello everyone, I'm back and today we are building a converted fire station, and I thought it would be quite fun if we converted this into a nightclub, just a nice little community lot for your Sims, to go and enjoy. I actually really wanted to make like a really small towny fire station, if you know what I mean. I kept seeing this image on Pinterest. I feel like it just kept being like recommended to me. And I just, in the end, I thought, right, okay, we'll make it then. But just keep showing me it, we'll make it. So I can't remember exactly where it was, but I mean, you might see it if you're ever on Pinterest because it kept showing it to me. But yeah, it was this small, well, kind of looks small, towny fire station, like an old fire station, rather than perhaps maybe like a big one that you'd find like in the city or something. So I thought that it would also fit quite well into StrangerVille, and I haven't built StrangerVille for ages, so I thought, well, that means we can build somewhere a little bit different at the same time, because I just really enjoy like building different places, especially like if you feel like, I don't know, if you feel like what you're doing has become a tiny bit repetitive. It's always good to just keep building in the different worlds, especially the ones which to me, I don't know, have like unique features, if you know what I mean. Like obviously the styling of StrangerVille is very unique to, well, StrangerVille. So I feel like this kind of build, it really fits, especially in this lot, because obviously you've got the kind of town centre, and this is the lot where the bar normally is. And because of like how it's obviously the run of, well, I mean, they could be shops or whatever along the side. I don't know, it just is really good for like a small community lot. I just feel like this build, I mean, it would work in some other worlds, but I don't know, I feel like it really suited StrangerVille. So that's what we did. And at one point I did actually consider just keeping it as a fire station, but I was like, I don't know, like what your Sims would do there, So yeah, I thought it would be quite fun, make it a nightclub and make it somewhere where your Sims can come. Obviously it's quite a small one, but I feel like that again would be the kind of size of one that would be in StrangerVille. Like, I don't know, everything to me, like I said, is like small towny, so it's not like these huge modern like new things being made, like they would use all the old buildings and things. And yeah, maybe this has just been around for a really long time, but it's been unused for a while and someone's kind of restored it from the outside back to like how it was exactly, and then yeah, just sort of converted it on the inside. I don't know, it makes a good use of an older building, And you'll see as well, the outside, I do chop and change a lot, or a few times from the exterior, just because, I don't know, like I was trying to find the best way to make it look, I was trying to find a balance basically of it being old and fit into StrangerVille, but also kind of, I don't know, like you see how I'm using like the pillars and I don't know what to call it, but it's like a roof decoration item from the high school pack on. So you'll see that I put that over where the like red doors are, if you see what I mean, and at the top of the build itself. I kind of use those to create it in, it's like very, I don't know, just really nicely made building. It's very, I don't want to say posh, that's what I mean, but it's like a lot of love was put into it when it was built, and like kind of ornate, that's the word I'm looking for, ornate. It makes it a bit more ornate. So I was trying to find a balance basically of not being too ornate, because I feel like it could be like I could have gone too far with it. But yeah, I was trying to find a balance of just making it like this building that had been there for a really long time and fits into StrangerVille. But yeah, that's just, when they built it, I had a lot of detail that I feel like, sometimes buildings now, they just don't have that much detail put into them, right? We build very fast now, so buildings, more modern buildings, are just not as ornate. It's just the way it is. But yeah, but you'll also see that so obviously the red doors, so they're not actually doors. You can see I've made these two fake doors, which are like garage doors, and the idea is obviously that would be where the fire engines would come in out of. And I actually didn't put real windows on it either, which is something I would normally do on like a fake garage. Because, I don't know, I feel like in a lot of images, or when I think of a fire station in my head, the red doors have like black windows. Now, I don't know if they're just like kind of, you know, like shaded out, if you know what I mean. So like you can't see in basically. So it's like a window, but yeah, it's like shaded out. You know, sometimes you get it on cars. So yeah, so I kind of thought that the best way of doing that was actually not to use a window from the game and to use these. It's like an art piece, I think, a decorative piece, which I'm trying to think where it came from. But basically I just flipped it around so it's just like the back of it. So it's just plain black. So I put them across the front, and I do actually end up putting them on the inside as well, even though I haven't right now because I didn't think I would. So yeah, you get to enjoy me doing it all over again, raising them up and then finding the right place so they stick out on the wall. But yeah, so yeah, I thought that kind of worked better than the windows. I don't know. Hopefully it did. But you'll see, like I said, I'm still faffing with the front of this build and the back of this build because I don't know, it's just looking really flat. I kept changing it little bits because it was just looking a bit flat and I just wanted to give it a bit more character. So yeah, I kept chopping and changing, and I ended up putting these big windows on the front and back, which I was reluctant to do at the start. And that's why I've only just done it now, because I was kind of trying out some different options before I settled on these big windows. Mainly because I knew that obviously it was going to be a nightclub on the inside. And I always think it's a bit strange for nightclubs to have really, really big windows, because obviously they always want it to be dark in there. And if you have windows, I mean, the light goes inside. So yeah, I was a bit reluctant to do that to start with, but then actually realised, I don't know, I felt like it looked better from the outside. And figured, well, we can just cover it with some curtains, you know, like from the inside to like keep the light out. But in the end, most of the time, a nightclub, people are going to go at night. So it'll be dark then anyway. So we kind of don't have that problem. But just, I don't know, I just feel like it needs to be covered. So we do put some curtains up inside, obviously. But yeah, I'm building this. I kind of was like in two minds. I felt like I should be building with the new pack. Obviously the ranch pack, which, I mean, I've only played with it a little bit. I haven't had crazy amounts of time playing with it. Hopefully I will build something in it for next week. That's the plan. If not, definitely the week after. But yeah, I don't know. I have to say I was a bit reluctant to build something with it for this week, just because I felt like I didn't have much time to like play or see what's in the pack. But if I'm honest, it's not like my favorite pack ever. I'm like not the biggest fan. I think obviously it's great having more animals, especially for like if you want to make a farm and things, and obviously the horses, being able to ride them is great. I know they don't work 100%, but I mean, they will, right? They'll fix them and things, but yeah, I don't know. It's not, it just feels like, obviously it's very different from the cottage living pack, but just the way it just feels like those animals could have just been added into that pack. Obviously we have a new world, which I don't know, again, I think it's just preference, right? I think I prefer the expansion packs that bring something a lot different, because to me, obviously expansion packs are the biggest games like pack you can get. And yeah, I always feel like that's where they can like put really new things in. And for me, there's nothing that big that's new. It all feels like quite similar to things we've had before. And so yeah, so obviously it's great, and there are some great like items and things. There always is in any pack, even the packs you think would have like nothing. And there's always something great. But yeah, for me, it's not like my favorite pack. And yeah, so I was a bit reluctant to build in it because I just felt like I wouldn't build something well or like how I wanted, because yeah, I just wasn't vibing it, you know? But once I've had a bit more time with it and things, I know, I mean, for one, I know I definitely, if I build something, it's not going to be in the new world. not immediately anyway, just because obviously with the horses element, I just want to make something, I don't know, more out in the countryside, or the countryside I know, right? So like a British countryside. But don't get me wrong, like obviously I love building in all the worlds, so I will build in that world, but just, yeah, like what I'm imagining in my head of what we're going to build is probably going to be built in Henford on Bagley, to be honest. But yeah, so yeah, don't get me wrong, it's great having the horses and things, but yeah, it just feels like there could be so much more. It feels like we could have had a different expansion pack and we'd have so much more in the game. But yeah, I know some people love it, so it's just purely preference, right? But yeah, but you'll see I am now actually on the inside of this fire station, and you'll see that so on the side of this building is a clock tower, and that's actually where I put the entrance into the fire station on the ground floor. And I felt like, obviously it's a bit of a weird space because it's obviously just one tall tower, and I figured that would be a really good space for a fireman's pole. I really want to put a fireman's pole in this because in my mind that's what makes a building a fire station. I mean, it's not, but for me it made me feel better about it being a fire station if there was a fireman's pole. I thought it was a really good place for it, even if it's not like, I mean obviously it doesn't work because we can't go down fireman's poles, and it's just like debug like items stacked on top of each other. But yeah, it's not that realistic. It's probably not where it would be, because there'd probably be one going down into where the like fire trucks would be. So yeah, but I just thought it worked well, and it just meant it could go all the way up to the top, even though again that doesn't make much sense, because how would you get to the top of the clock tower, like to come back down it, you know? I don't know, it worked. I wanted it to be that obviously it was no longer in action, like your Sims can't use it anyway, obviously, but for like realism purposes, in my mind, it's been like gated off. You'll see there's like fence to like prevent Sims obviously from using it. So yeah, so maybe there was like, I don't know, like some rooms up there, offices or sort of bedrooms as it were, but they've obviously all just been emptied and things, so we're just left with the pole, you know, just for decorative purposes. And then this sort of, like I say, the main entrance into the fire station is the bottom of the clock tower. And I put some like old looking desks. I like to think that a lot of the things in this build were restored or just used that had been used previously in the fire station, if that makes sense. So maybe some desks that, like I say, were there, because I imagine that would be the main entrance for the fire station when it was a functioning fire station, so where you could go in and speak to someone on reception. So yeah, I kind of used some old looking desks to kind of recreate that, and the lockers as well behind, which I thought was quite fun because you could, like I say, they could have been from before, what the firemen used to use when they would put their clothes in there and things, change their clothes if they were doing like a night shift. But then also, you know, for the Sims to put their coats in there, you know, when they come, and you can like put your coats away if you're at a nightclub and things like that, or bags or whatever you don't want with you. Yeah, I thought you could maybe like have a rented locker, and then you could put your things in there. I don't know, I thought it was a fun little idea. But yeah, inside, to be honest, it's fairly small, like I say, because it is supposed to be a small fire station, so it's not like massive, but I think it's a good space. And you'll see that I put the main dance area down in some down in the platforms, just to, I don't know, create a bit of dimension. I just thought I didn't want it to feel too flat, because with nightclubs I always feel like there's not much in nightclubs. Obviously there's not loads of clutter because it's just not really needed. It's just somewhere which obviously you go and you dance, have a good time and things. So there's never really much about, you know what I mean? So I didn't want it to look too like boring, you know? So I thought if we kind of change the like ground floor and obviously have it all with a balcony above, and like where your Sims can look from the second floor down onto the dance area. I thought that was quite fun, and it just made it a bit more different, you know? So you'll see we're up here now, and we like where you can look down. I think it's quite nice. I do add some more detail as well, so like lights and things for the dance floor, and like the upper trim. I always forget what it's called, just to finish it up nicely later on. But yeah, I thought it was quite a good space. And I also have fun using the like siren lights. It creates a nice red glow. Obviously, in my head there would be those kind of lights for obviously when there was any emergency, a fire truck had to go to attend. But yeah, it also creates like a really nice red glow inside, just to kind of, you know, reiterate that's an all fire station. But yeah, so you'll see here I'm putting the curtains, which just creates a little bit of privacy and just makes it a bit more moody, rather than obviously just having windows, like just fully open windows. I don't completely cover the windows because, you know, I think a little bit of light is nice, and being able to see outside is also very nice. I always feel like that's the other thing with nightclubs, is just can be too dark sometimes, right? Like just completely, just like wall to wall, no windows, can be a little bit like, a bit enclosing. I mean, I've just said this and I have just covered those windows on the ground floor in curtains, but hey, the ones upstairs don't, because I feel like when you're upstairs, it's less of a privacy thing. So if you're down there, like if people were just walking past the window, it might be a little bit weird. So I thought, let's just cover the back window on the ground floor with curtains, just to, you know, keep it out and in, you know? And then there is a little space outside as well, sort of a fire exit, which is like, I don't know, a fire exit at a fire station, you know? Anyway, and yeah, so there's a little outside area, which is if you feel like, I don't know, you might get a bit like hot in there, or just want to go outside for a bit of fresh air, or a little chat where it'd be a bit quieter, you know? You can go out there, just hang out for a bit, then come back inside, you know? And it's another way to get up and down too, so, you know. Benefits all round, really. But yeah, so you'll see I put like the trim in, just to give it a bit more shape, you know? And some of those big lights, I think was it from Get Famous? I always get confused with Get Famous ones and the Get Together ones, you know? But yeah, just to get some funky lighting going on as well when they're down on the dance floor. And I always keep forgetting about these like little outside decoration pieces to put outside. I always remember them at the end of my builds. I don't know why, but those ones that came with, I think it's the basement pack, really cool. Like they look like brick just revealing from like peeling, or I don't know, like being revealed, perhaps some renders being chipped off. I just think they're really, really cool. Adds a nice little bit of detail. I mean, this brick's got quite a nice bit of detail on it anyway, but just a bit more detail, you know? But anyway, we have come to the end. I will leave you with some screenshots and see you in the next one. Bye!